There are a lot of things in life that bug me, honestly. I mean, not a good thing, but one of the things that bothers me the most, like my biggest pet peeve in the world, is when people talk on speakerphone in public. Like, there's nothing that actually drives me crazier than that. Like, I'll never understand it. The office is looking a little rough right now. Kind of weed city here. I mean, I guess technically it's not really sad because I'm looking forward to not paying rent to just have a building for no reason whatsoever. So I pay like $1,500 a month to basically have internet at this place because that's the only time I ever come here, is just to have fast internet. That's an expensive internet bill.
Disarmed, ready to arm.
I don't come in the office much anymore, but I usually come in like once a week just to back up anything that we shot from the previous week. And then specifically, I back up all of my vlog footage on Google Drive. And my internet at my house just still sucks because I can't get Fios. But we're not using the office for anything else, so might as well use it for something. I've always backed up every single one of my vlogs entirely on Google Drive as well. So I have every bit of raw footage I've ever shot for a vlog and the exports and all the stuff associated with it. I just like having it in case I ever want to go reference something. I can just like get the actual footage back from it. I feel like it's just a kind of a good way to store things and not have to worry about ever like just downloading it from YouTube in crappy quality or whatever. So it just takes forever to do at my house. It's so frustrating when you have really fast internet for so long in this office, and then at home I have like the crappiest upload speed ever. So I asked you on Instagram some questions, and you guys had some great ones. So I hadn't done this on the vlog in a while, so I figured, you know what? Let's get some questions answered because I'm all about providing that value, you know? Scott Ralph said, is the FX3 really worth it over the A7S III for wedding? Already have an A7S III and looking to add one more. I would say if you already have an A7S III and weddings are your main thing, just get another A7S III. From a wedding perspective, the things that the A7S III has that the FX3 also has, like the FX3 doesn't have any additional perks that help from a wedding perspective. The FX3 to us made a lot of sense because it has the XLR inputs and has a lot of things that make more sense from a commercial standpoint. From a wedding perspective, you don't really need any of those. We never use the handle on a wedding day, so really we're just using an A7S III in a nutshell anyway. So I would say it's definitely not worth upgrading from the A7S III to the FX3 just for weddings. Just stick with the A7S III. Hey, welcome. Hey. Anyway, ooh, I missed this chair too. I don't know why I have this chair still here. Ah, it's so comfy. All right, that's it for now, office. See ya. Katie and Duncan asked this question, which I absolutely love. How do you stay motivated when you get bored in your own business? And this is a great question because honestly, this is something that I deal with on a regular basis. I get really bored with a lot of the things that I do in all aspects, not just work stuff, but in general. I always am looking to do something different and change things up. It's the biggest reason why I have a bunch of companies and why I continue to know that I'll keep building more and more businesses, because the more things I do, the less bored I get with a specific thing. And so I feel like I do that specific thing better when I'm actually in it. If I did nothing but shoot and edit all the time, I'd kind of get bored with that. So I like to have, you know, some of the wedding stuff, and I do the pressure washing stuff now, and I do YouTube stuff, and I lead worship at a church, and I do a lot of things. So I'm really never getting bored with any specific thing because I don't do it long enough to actually get bored with it. If you're a person that doesn't like building a bunch of different businesses or doing a lot of things, I totally understand that too. What I would say is find some sort of hobby that you really enjoy, that you do not get paid for whatsoever, and make sure that you put that time into your schedule to do that thing. The fact of the matter is you got to do something that you really enjoy that isn't necessarily feeding your bank account, because whenever I do something that I'm not getting paid for, it clearly is an indication that I really like doing that specific thing, because there are a lot of other things that I could be getting paid for. Does that make sense? It can be tricky, and I promise you, if you're an entrepreneur, no matter how much you love your business right now, there will be times that you will probably get a little bit bored, and it's always good to just continue to do things that keep you excited, keep you motivated, and remember that you kind of still do have to do that work, but getting your mind off it every once in a while is super important. Also, yesterday I introduced you to my new work truck for Oddly Satisfying, but I never introduced you to my truck, like my personal truck. This is my F-150. I love this thing. This is a 2021 F-150 and it's the new Power Boost, so it's actually the new hybrid, the first ever F-150 hybrid. I've absolutely been loving it. There's just so much space in this thing. It is so comfy. It drives more comfortable than like my Tesla did, and yet it's a big, huge truck that has tons of space, and it's incredible in snow, and the back is huge. Currently, I have the car seat in there. I don't normally keep a car seat in here, but the back has so much space. But the craziest part about the whole thing is that this truck is actually a hybrid, so I actually get between 24 to like 27 miles to a gallon when I'm driving around. I recently took a road trip all the way to Virginia, and I got like 28 miles to a gallon on the whole trip, which is crazy for a truck this big. And what's cool about that is that the gas tank itself is also really large. It's a 30-gallon tank or something, so I get like 700 miles on that whole tank when I am getting that kind of gas mileage, which is awesome because sure, it's more expensive to fill it up, but you don't fill it up that often because 700 miles is a lot of miles if you're not really going on a trip. I don't miss the Tesla at all. I really love all the extra space. I especially love all the power features of this thing. I have a full-size power outlet here, full-size power outlet here in the back. I have 4 additional power outlets in the bed of the truck, and then I also have like a 220 plug-in, so it can literally power anything, and you can turn the actual truck into generator mode, so all those things can be used. And this has a built-in 7.2 kilowatt generator built into the truck, so I can literally just turn it into generator mode and just use this as a generator and power anything I want, which is incredible. But you probably don't even really care about any of that kind of stuff, so let me get to the stuff that you do care about. Garrick said, have you ever live streamed a wedding? About to do my first one. I have, and I would say that it's not something that I ever would like promote or even recommend. The live stream went okay, but at the end of the day, the variable is always the internet. So you could have the best system in the entire world, having a 10-man crew, be ready to do everything perfectly, and if the internet is not perfect, the live stream just isn't very good. We've done a couple very successful live streams. We've done a couple of them that have had major internet issues and there's nothing we can do. So the way that I've always approached it is specifically, especially if you're talking about from a wedding perspective, I always just say we will do our best to live stream it at the best capability possible. But at the end of the day, what we're really trying to get you is a great edited ceremony after the fact. That way, what I'm doing is shooting it for the intent of actually editing it after the fact because they want to see it in the best quality anyway. And a live stream is kind of like a perk. Jarl said, not a question, just saying hey. Hey. Anaf 1025, sorry if I'm butchering your name, not sure how to say it. Advice for a beginner filmmaker. I've talked about this a ton before, but my best advice for a beginner filmmaker is to just start filming nonstop. Doesn't matter what gear you have, doesn't matter what clients you have, doesn't matter if you're using your phone, doesn't matter if you're using a super cheap camera and lens, doesn't matter. You need to get practice, you need to edit more, you need to shoot more, you need to show people what you're capable of, and you need to learn so that you can feel comfortable pricing and trying to actually get work now that you're just starting out. Scott asked, good name by the way, did you go to school for any of this or did you learn everything from experience and others? Totally from experience and others. I barely graduated high school, didn't go to college at all, didn't go to film school, didn't even purchase any specific courses, just literally learning and being obsessed with getting better in everything that I do. There are amazing resources all over the world and the internet just specifically for this type of stuff, and I hope this is one of those channels that can be useful to you, but seriously, the resources are endless, and if you are willing to learn, there's totally a ton of opportunities for it. I'm super thankful for that. Alka Dejon, sorry if I'm completely butchering your name. Can you share the legal process of establishing a production company, LLC or DBA? So I am not going to give legal advice whatsoever. Here's what I will say. We use LegalZoom for everything that we actually do from a legal perspective, like getting LLCs and DBAs and all our tax numbers and all that stuff. I highly recommend using them. This is not an advertisement whatsoever, and in fact, there could be way better options than them. But with 4LC Studios, Scaling Creative, Oddly Satisfying Pressure Wash, washing and everything else that I do, we've always just used them to get all our LLCs set up. We ask them what's the best way to do things. So to give you a good idea, Scaling Creative is an LLC, Oddly Satisfying Pressure Washing is an LLC, and then 4LC Studios, the wedding production company, is actually a DBA doing business as under Scaling Creatives LLC. So if that helps at all, hopefully it does. But I would seek legal advice, because that kind of stuff you don't want to get the wrong advice for. And we'll end on this one because I think this is a great question too. Dunk Butler said, hit rewind, a business like Scaling Creative is the goal. With hindsight, what's your first move or your small goal? That's a really, really great question, because I really haven't thought about that, like if I were to start over today. I mean, I kind of am starting over with a bunch of other businesses, so it's like I kind of have that fresh perspective on things. But my biggest goal always when I first start is to just start to build my systems to get things correct from the very beginning. Fortunately, I did that with Scaling Creative, but I think far too many creatives and entrepreneurs and people, they're really good at operating the camera, let's just say, or they're really good at editing, they're really good at actually doing the creative work, but they wait way too long to put systems into place to actually make sure that as you grow, you can actually have the things in place to make that happen successfully and not have to try to play catch up later. If you start having this thriving business and you have all these new clients and all this stuff, and then you don't really have like all your invoices properly and all your stuff in the back end very organized, what happens is you end up having to like figure that all out as you're already running full speed with the business, and it can be really tricky. Having a really good like client management software from the very beginning is super important, because as you add more people, you already have the systems in place. And then when you scale beyond yourself, having those systems of all types in place, like task management and invoicing and client management stuff all over the place, when you go to delegate something to somebody, whether it's editing or whether it's doing invoicing or whether it's scheduling, whatever, having the system in place and being able to say, here's how I do it and here's how I want you to operate it, is way easier than being like, well, we don't really have any system at all, so just figure out whatever way is best. I like to be able to put all the systems in place, basically what I'm doing with the pressure washing company now, getting all the systems down, how we do things, how we invoice, how we quote, how we do everything, getting it down on video so people can actually watch it back. That way when I scale the team, I have the resources in place already to better equip them, and I'm not trying to play catch up now that I have to just suddenly figure it out because I have employees. So I hope that helps. But biggest goal I would say is to just put your systems in place from the very beginning. Yes, they'll change. Yes, pricing will change. Yes, maybe the software you even use will change. But having some sort of structure from the very beginning is incredibly, incredibly important. Thanks as always for watching. Hope this was valuable in some way or form. Comment below. Tell me what you liked the best.